course, you'll get introduced to a really exciting new technology for science education called remote labs. Remote labs are a tool that allows students and teachers to run experiments on real pieces of laboratory equipment located around the world. My name is Kemi Jonah. I'm a professor of learning sciences and computer science at Northwestern University and the director of the Remote Labs project. As school budgets get tighter, it's harder and harder for schools to be able to afford quality lab equipment and materials and supplies. And so Remote Labs allows students to access experiments via their web browser, but controlling real pieces of equipment.
With the type of things we have in our labs, we have great things, beakers and test tubes and thermometers, but ultimately what we want to have access to are the types of instruments you'll use in a workplace. At this point in time, high schools are not going to be able to get instruments in their schools. So the most exciting thing about iLabs for me is to be able to use those instruments remotely from anywhere in the world, any time of the day. And it's exciting because students can design their own experiments, they're doing great science, they learn from their mistakes, and then they can improve their scientific design. So for me, that's something I've never been able to give my kids before, and it's a great opportunity for all high school students to be a part of it.
One thing that you can do with Remote Labs is you can flip the classroom, or flip the laboratory in this case. Rather than doing the labs in class and being limited to 50 minutes or however long you have, you can now assign labs as homework for students to do out of class.
I can teach my curriculum in the classroom. I can send my kids home and they can run the labs any time of day or night. They can come back with their data to my classroom and we can talk about it, and I can send them back home and do more labs. They can do this at 2 o'clock in the morning. They can do this after a basketball game. They have the opportunity to do experiments, to truly design experiments outside of the classroom. And I think that's an effective way to keep students' attention. We allow them to do it on their terms, and we allow them to do fascinating things that they otherwise wouldn't have had a chance to do.
The goal of this mini-course is to introduce you to the Remote Labs technology and the web interface you and your students will use to run Remote Labs. The course also includes a set of curriculum materials, assessments, and teacher materials to help you implement Remote Labs in your classroom. The course is set up as 4 sequenced activities. The first 3 activities are designed to introduce Remote Labs to you and have you walk through Remote Labs just as your students will. The 4th activity will help you to implement a Remote Lab in your classroom. As part of each activity, this mini-course will invite you to contribute to a discussion with other STEM teachers about Remote Labs and the best practices for making them successful in the classroom. By the end of these 4 activities, you should feel comfortable with Remote Labs and be ready to start using them regularly in your classroom. Whenever you're ready to begin, please click the button below that says Start Activity 1.